Welcome back, guys, to the Andrei Delic podcast. Today is another reality check. No soccer today, no football. I know last episode I did a lot of soccer topics, and just I talked about football a lot. But today's going to be a reality check. Now it's honestly going to be like politics, religion, philosophy, everything. So first of all, let's start off with what just happened in Israel and Palestine thanks to the GOAT, Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump brought peace in the Middle East, in Israel and in Palestine. Donald J. Trump did that. Of course, him with his team, but he did that. So I want all my liberals who hate Donald Trump and who are screaming for peace in Palestine and in Israel, I want you guys to be vocal and congratulate and thank Donald Trump for what he did. Donald Trump brought peace between Israel and Hamas, Palestine. Donald Trump did that. Not Justin Gay-ass Trudeau, not Joe Senile Biden, not Kamala Woke Harris. Donald J. fucking Trump, the fucking GOAT. He brought peace between Israel and Palestine. Nobody else did it. He fucking did it. The art of making a deal, how Donald Trump advertises himself and his work and his business. Donald J. Trump did it. That's why he's a fucking dog. He brought peace. All normal human beings, we all wanted peace there. It's always sad, always sad to see young children die, see innocent civilians die, and just see people die in general. Now, of course, Hamas, which is a terrorist group, they're not a political party, they are a terrorist group. Hamas is a terrorist group. You can say whatever you want. If you deny the fact that Hamas is a terrorist group, you're just biased, you're blind, or you're ignorant, or you're dumb, or you're just plainly lying to others while deep down you know that they are a terrorist group. That's what Hamas is. But to get back to the main point, seeing young children die, seeing innocent civilians dying, it's always sad. On both sides, war is always sad. It's never a good thing. We always want peace. All normal human beings, they want peace. They want countries to flourish and to live side by side peacefully. That's what we want. And who brought peace between Israel and Palestine? Donald J. fucking Trump. He did it. Salute to the Americans, the greatest country on planet Earth, America, the greatest people on planet Earth. Salute, my Americans. Salute to Donald J. Trump. Special salute to the GOAT, Pete fucking Hexet, the OG. Salute to JD Vance. Salute to Elon Musk. Salute to Marco Rubio. Salute to everyone who's on Donald J. Trump's team. Salute to them. Let's keep moving forward. And one last time, guys. Donald J. fucking Trump brought peace between Israel and Palestine. Now, guys, honestly, real shit. I know it's in the constitutional law that U.S. presidents, that a single person can only serve 2 terms. By law, it's written in the Constitution that they can only serve 2 terms at the max. Give Donald J. Trump a 3rd term. Fuck it. Change the laws. Give my broski Donald J. Trump a 3rd term. And give him a 4th term. Let him be president until he dies. I know, guys, you know how much I love capitalism, how much I love democracy and everything. But for this special case, let Donald J. Trump be the president until he dies. Please, because right now, I'm not saying he's the best individual to ever be president, but circumstances and just the direction this world is going and the place that this world is currently in, we need a man like Donald J. Trump. So it's not that he's the best president to ever exist. It's not like he's the best human being president to ever exist, but it's just he came into a perfect scenario and a perfect situation to be president. And that's why I'm saying that right now. What I'm saying is because the situation we are right now, we would benefit a lot, and the entire world would benefit a lot if Donald J. Trump were to be president for the rest of his life. I never thought I would have said this, but hey, let him be president for the rest of his life. I mean, he's old. He probably has like, I don't know, like maybe 10 years. If he's lucky, maybe he has more, bro. At his age, he's really fucking energetic. He's really sane in the mind. He's really clear-minded. He's really sharp in the mind. At his age, man, that's really... Now, he's not in good shape. He's fucking fat. Let's just say it how it is. He's going to say, oh, I'm not fat. My doctor just showed that I'm not obese. Broski, you're fat. Like, let's not lie. But up here, he's sharp. He's smart. And I'm not saying that he's the smartest American president to ever exist. I'm not saying he's the best American president to ever exist. But right now, it just so happened that he came into a perfect storm, in a perfect situation that America is in right now and that the world is in right now. And we would all benefit a lot from Donald J. Trump being president of the United States for the rest of his life. We would all benefit a lot. I ain't gonna lie. That's a fact. Okay, next topic. So guys, recently what happened in Montreal, there was Palestinian protests. I'm not sure when it happened. And then there were some people like opposing the Palestinian protests with Quebec flags, Quebecers with Quebec flags. And I saw this video of police pushing these Quebec protesters, pushing a grandma. Imagine being such of a fucking pussy of a police officer. You push a grandma out of the way, and that grandma is holding a Quebec flag. Let's not forget, we're on Quebec soil right now. We're in Canada. We're in Montreal, which is in Quebecois soil. What fucking shame of you guys. She has a Quebec flag, and you're pushing them to the side, all the people with Quebecois flags, so that you can let these Palestinian people with Palestinian flags walk all over and do whatever they want. Some people, I swear to God, now, as a sociologist, as a human being who lives his life and sees certain situations out there, sometimes I get this feeling, man, that some of you white people, I'm white Christian, but I get the feeling that some of you white people are ashamed to be white, and that's so fucking dumb. Why the fuck would you be ashamed to be white? If I'm keeping it honest, now, not on some white like supremacy shit, not like I said, all human beings are equal, we're all the same, we should all love one another. But you should never be ashamed of who you are, no matter if you're white, no matter if you're black, no matter if you're Chinese, no matter if you're Arabic, no matter if you're Indian, no matter if you're Latino, no matter if you're Slavic, no matter who you are, you should never be ashamed of who you are. So why the fuck not most, but many white people feel like they have white shame or white guilt, like they're shamed to be white. Why the fuck do you guys have that? If I'm being honest, white people should never have that. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Like I said in the beginning, you should never be ashamed of who you are, no matter what your skin color is, no matter what your religious affiliations are, no matter what your political affiliations are, no matter who you are. We're all equal as human beings, and we all deserve to be respected and to be loved, quote unquote, loved. So you should never be ashamed to be who you are. But I get the feeling, since I live in Canada, in a Western country, I get the feeling that I see many white people being ashamed of being white, of being Canadian, of being Quebecois, of being Christian, of being whatever. Guys, I'm talking to you guys right now. You guys have a really, really beautiful population, really beautiful culture, really beautiful country, and you guys are really, really beautiful people. Not only should you not be ashamed of being who you are, but you should be really, really proud to be Canadian, to be Quebecois, to be Christian. You should be really, really proud of that, because this country, Canada, is probably the greatest country on planet Earth, with America and like France or England. Maybe, like, in my honest opinion, the greatest countries on planet Earth is America and Canada, for being honest. In my opinion, they're the two greatest countries. You should be proud to be Canadian. You should be proud to be Christian. You should be proud that your ancestors came from Europe and came here as settlers and created such a beautiful country out of literally nothing. 300 years ago, 400 years ago, we had French sailors and English sailors coming to North America by accident. First of all, they were aiming to go to India, and they knew that some people knew that the world was round, so they thought that they could go around the world and then hit India. That was their main goal. They didn't know that they were going to hit North America or just America in general with South America. So when the French and English navigators, when they sailed west to go so that they can do the entire circle of the world and then hit India, they hit North America and South America and Central America. At first, they thought that they reached India. That's why we call Native Americans Indians, because at first, when they hit North America, they thought they were Indians. And then later on, they figured, oh, this is a new continent. So let's create something out of nothing. Now, no shade thrown at Native Americans. They had their lifestyle, they had their culture, they had their way of living life. But it wasn't, they didn't like create a lot. If I'm being honest, I'm trying to be as nice as I can and trying to be as politically correct as I can. They didn't innovate a lot. They didn't create a lot. They just they didn't live like savages. I'm not saying that they lived like savages, but they didn't live as successfully, quote unquote, and as they didn't make that many. How can I say this without sounding like racist or something? They didn't innovate as much as white Europeans did back in Europe. That's a fact. I mean, their society was way more advanced. All their technology was way more advanced than Native Americans. Everything was way more advanced. So that's why when they came here, and when there was quote unquote nothing, they created something out of nothing inside of 300 years with the United States of America and with Canada. There's a huge difference between settlers and immigrants. Settlers created these two amazing countries out of nothing inside of 300 years. Do you know how much of a competent individual and how much of a competent society and how much of a competent community you have to be to do that? You have to be really, really competent, really, really smart, really, really innovative, and really, really hardworking. And you have to have every good aspect that requires a human being to have in order to achieve a lot. That's what you had to have. And that's a fucking fact. Like, say what you want, that's a fact. Settlers came here and the first Nouvelle France, when the French settled in North America, it was in 1618 with Samuel de Champlain and Jacques Cartier came in 1534 or something. But in 1618, they created the Quebec capital in Quebec, and they had Nouvelle France, which was really, really fucking big in North America. Before French had way more territory than the English in North America. And then with wars and everything, English gained way more. But like it or not, who created America? Who created Canada? It was white, English, Christian, Protestant settlers and French, white, Catholic settlers. They're the ones who created North America. They're the ones who made America and Canada so great, so prosperous, and such a beautiful place to live. They're the ones who did it. My ancestors, Serbians, they didn't do it. I'm not afraid to say it. They didn't do it. It's a fact. They didn't do it. I don't give a fuck. Yes, they're my ancestors, but what they did and what they didn't do has nothing to do with me. I know who I am. I know what I can accomplish. I know what I did, and I know what I'll do. So I don't care if they didn't do shit. So that's why at the same time, you shouldn't care that your ancestors aren't the one who built Canada or America. You shouldn't give a fuck. But if we're being real, if we're keeping it real, the ones who created America was white, Christian, Protestant, English settlers, the WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and French people from France, Catholics, white, French, Christian. Now, of course, in the beginning, like I said, they had La Nouvelle France, which was like a big, it went from all the way from Quebec, the province that we currently know, all the way to Nouvelle Orleans, New Orleans. And they almost had everything. And then with wars against the English took mostly everything in North America. That's why now the only place in North America that people speak French is Quebec, the place where I am from. They're the only place in North America that you speak French because that's the only thing that the French were left with in North America. And the rest of North America, all the other provinces in Canada and all the 50 states in America, they all speak English because they all come from English settlers. They created these countries. That's why these countries are so prosperous, so beautiful, and so innovative. And if I'm being honest, America and Canada are the two greatest countries on planet Earth. North America, maybe I'm being biased because this is where I'm born and this is where I'm currently living in and this is where I was raised. But hey, I said what I said. And like it or not, this is not me being biased, but the most powerful country on planet Earth is the United States of America. That's a fact. That's not me being biased. I'm not American. I'm not born in America. I'm not raised there, whatever. I'm not American, but I can still say a fact when it's a fact. That's a fact. So I don't know where I was going with it. Yeah, so that was talking about people having white guilt or white shame. Stop it. It's fucking stupid. Like I said, just as much as I don't care what my ancestors did, I don't give a fuck. Like, I literally don't care. Like, my closest ancestor that I know is my granddad from my dad's side and my mom's side. After that, I don't know them. Even my grandparents, like both of my grandmas are still alive, but my granddad on my mom's side and my granddad on my dad's side, I knew them for like until I was 11. After that, they died. Rest in peace. I only knew them for like, I only saw them like 2-3 times in my life because they lived in Serbia and Bosnia and I lived here in Canada. I only saw them like 2-3 times. So even like I have some fond memories of them. I have some memories, really beautiful memories I have, but I don't really know exactly how they act. Like I do know like one was really like quiet and introverted. The other one was like more moral and less introverted and less shy, less silent, more vocal. Like I do remember some sort of stuff, but I don't exactly remember like what was his opinion on certain topics. What did he like to do? Like, of course, if I ask my mom and my dad, they'll tell me, but I don't exactly know them 100%. I still know that deep down, their presence is always going to be with me. They're always going to be by my side for the rest of my life. I understand that, and I believe in that actually. But like I'm saying, I don't know like who really they were. So, but my main point is, so imagine my other ancestors. I don't even have no fucking idea who they are. I don't really care, if I'm being honest. Like, if someone wants to tell me, you know what, one of your ancestors on your mom's side was a millionaire. Shit, can I get some money? No, okay. I don't really care. Like, maybe I'll be interested. Oh, really? Like, what did he do? You know, oh, he had a company or whatever. I'll be like, oh, nice. But I'm not really gonna have any pride because I didn't do it. I didn't live with him while he was doing it. I didn't know him while he was doing it. So I'm not really gonna care. Yes, that's my blood, but fuck, I'm not gonna care. Same goes for the other side. If someone wants to tell me, you know what, Andre, one of your ancestors from 5 generations ago had slaves, I wouldn't be ashamed. I wouldn't give a fuck, if I'm being honest. I'd be like, okay, I mean, different times. I mean, if I'm being honest, at that time in America, the only people who had slaves were rich and wealthy people. Like poor people, poor white people didn't have slaves in America. Only like the 1% of Americans had slaves because they were rich and wealthy. You had to have a lot of fucking money to have slaves in America. But to get back to the main point, if someone was to tell me, you know what, Andre, one of your ancestors had slaves or one of your ancestors did this or that, that's something considering something bad, I personally wouldn't give two flying fucks. I wouldn't give a fuck. Why? First of all, I didn't fucking do it. So you cannot blame me for something that I didn't do. I don't give a fuck if that's my blood relative. I don't give a fuck. You can't blame me for something I didn't do. Even if one of my ancestors was even if my ancestor was fucking Hitler, I wouldn't give a fuck. Maybe I'd be like, yo, you know what? One of my ancestors is fucking he's not, he accomplished a lot. Now, I'm not saying it's good what he did. It's really bad. But he was like a huge historical figure. Like or not, he accomplished a lot. I'm not saying he's good. He's an evil motherfucker. But he accomplished a lot, quote unquote. He became someone, if I can say it like that. But even then, I wouldn't give a fuck if my ancestor was Hitler. I didn't fucking do it. He did it. Blame him or blame someone who helped him do it. Whatever. Don't blame me. I didn't do shit. I wasn't even fucking born when he fucking did what he did. Same goes for whatever. That was my main argument, my main point for people who still have white shame or white guilt. If you didn't do shit, if you didn't do anything, you shouldn't give a fuck what one of your ancestors did. Or even let's not even go that far. Let's say my dad does something. That's my dad. I'm like the generation just after him. I know him ever since I was born. I know him to this day. Even if he was to do something illegal or if he was to do something that I don't agree with, I still wouldn't give a fuck. Why? I didn't do it. I can only control what I do. I cannot control what other people do. Even if that's my blood, even if that's my relative, even if my son in 20 years, he's like, let's say he's 18 and he does something, like I would care for his well-being. Like I don't want him to go to jail. I don't want him to get murdered. I don't want him to get kidnapped, whatever. But I cannot control his actions. I can persuade him to do something that's better or whatever, but I cannot control his fucking actions. I cannot. At the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants to do. Just like my dad, just like my brother, just like my uncle, like my mom, like whoever. So I will never feel shame for something that one of my relatives does, or if something like one of my parents does, one of my uncles, one of my ancestors. I would never feel shame because I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Simple as that. And also, if we're being honest, like, the only thing that truly matters is who you are as an individual. That's the only thing that matters. You shouldn't give a fuck who your group is, who your group identifies with or as, and what your group did in the past. Someone can say, you know what, Serbians did something in the past that I don't agree with. I don't give a fuck. Andrei Delic, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't give a fuck. Someone can tell me, oh, you know what, Serbians are known to be, let's say, lazy. I don't care. I'm not lazy. I don't give a fuck. They can be known to be lazy. I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, I only care about my life. I don't have kids yet. So, quote unquote, I only care about my life. To a certain extent. I mean, of course, I'm always going to care for my mom's life, my dad's life, my brother's life, and other people I love and respect. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. If someone says, oh, you know what, Andre, Serbian Canadians are all criminals. Okay, I'm not. I'm not a criminal. I don't give a fuck. Andrei Delic, me, I'm not a criminal. Why do I give a fuck if most of them are criminals? Now, I'm not saying they are. I'm just giving an example to explain my point of view and explain my argument. But I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't give a two shit flying fuck. I wouldn't care. I couldn't care less, broski. I couldn't care less. If someone wants to tell me, Andre, Serbian Canadians, just like you, people who are born in Canada to Serbian parents, they're lazy. I wouldn't care because I'm not lazy. I'm not. Now, maybe I could be even more hard worker, which I want to be even more hard worker and work even harder. But I wouldn't care what my group, which is Serbian Canadians, what they identify as, who they are, what they did. I don't give two shit flying fuck. I don't care. That's why when sometimes I have a lot of Portuguese friends, and Portuguese people here in Gatineau, they tend to be a lot of construction workers, and I joke with them. Now, sometimes they get mad. I'm like, broski, why do you care? You're not a construction worker. Why do you give a fuck? Like, I feel like people sometimes they care too much about who their group is, and they identify too much with their group. At the end of the day, capitalism, the reason capitalism works so well is because it's founded on Christian values and more precisely Protestant values. And something that differs Protestant values from Catholic values, which although both of them are Christian and both of them are really, really similar, like it or not, one of the main things that differentiates both of them is Protestantism puts a lot of emphasis on individuality and individual accomplishment. While Catholics or even Muslims, they put a lot of emphasis on group mentality and group accomplishment. That's why I always consider myself a big Protestant. Of course, my parents are from Serbia, so technically I'm Orthodox originally. But when my dad came here in Canada, he converted us to Protestantism. And when I learned more about Protestantism, read more about it, I am now a really proud Protestant, and I've always been a Protestant. But one thing that I always really loved about Protestantism, like I said, North America was built mostly by the English, and the English were always Protestant ever since like 1600, 1400, when Martin Luther from Germany and Calvin from England, when they protested against the Catholic Church, and then they created a new branch, which is Protestantism, which is still Christianity. And that's why America and North America, that's why the country innovates so much and evolves so much and goes forward so much, is because we value and we put more emphasis on individuality, individual accomplishments, than group accomplishment and group mentality. That's how I see it. Me, it's all about who you are as an individual. You can be black. If I fuck with you, I fuck with you. You're a good individual. I don't care where you're from, where your parents are from, where they're born. I don't care. Who are you as an individual? You'll be my friend. I have friends who are black. I have friends who are Muslims. I have friends who are Quebecois. I have friends who are Italian, Portuguese. I don't care where you're from. I have friends who are Serbian. And I only care who you are as an individual. And not only should you only care about who your friends are as individuals, you should only care about who you are as an individual. What did you accomplish? What are your dreams? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? Not what your group wants you to accomplish, not what they accomplish. Just follow who you are as an individual. That's why I really love Protestantism, being a Protestant, because they put more emphasis on individuality and individual accomplishments more than group mentality and group accomplishments. If I'm being honest, I only care about, like I said, quote unquote, I only care about me, but because I care about me as an individual. What will I accomplish? What will I, Andrei Delic, do? Not what my group will do, not whatever. That's why, and there was also like, for people who didn't watch The Sopranos, which is in my opinion the greatest TV show of all time, there was this one scene where Tony Soprano was in his car with, I forgot his name, with another guy, the guy who owns this strip club, Bada Bing, in the TV show. I forgot the name of the guy who owns this strip club, Bada Bing. And then he was in the car talking to Tony Soprano while Tony Soprano was driving, and there was his nephew in the back. What's the name of his nephew? Fuck, I forgot his name. It's been a long time since I watched The Sopranos. Maserati? I forgot his name, but whatever. The main point is, the guy who was passenger next to Tony Soprano who was driving, he kept complaining about how Americans saw Italian Americans as less, how his grandparents, when they immigrated from Italy to America, they got shit on. They were seen as second-class citizens in America, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Tony Soprano got all mad. He said, shut the fuck up. Who are you as an individual? That's what matters. You shouldn't give a fuck what happened to your, like, to a certain extent. You shouldn't care what happened to your grandparents, how they were treated, what happened, how people see the Italian-American community in general. You should only care about how people see you and who you are and what you accomplished as an individual. That's the only thing that matters, what you accomplished as an individual. And then he went on to say, I'm tired of people always clinging to the group mentality, always clinging to their group. Oh, my group this, my group that. Don't give a fuck. Who are you as an individual? That's the only thing that matters, man. Next topic. What was it again? Thoughts. Okay, so I saw this on like Twitter or Facebook. A girl wrote, I'm quoting her right now, signs of an alpha male: never judges you for your past, supports your child as their own, never asks you for financial help. Okay, so yo guys, I'm like 50-50 on this. Right? This is a bit crazy. Some people can confuse alpha male with simp. Now let me express my opinion regarding this. Never judges you for your past. Like, yo, I'm trying to be fair right now. Like, honest, I'm really, really trying to be fair. A woman's past will always matter. Now, that's not the only thing that defines a woman, her past. That's not the only thing. But to a certain extent, it does define her. And also, man. If a man slept with fucking hundreds of women, he's always gonna be known as a fucking as a fuck boy, or as a what's the name? As a Casanova, or as a lady killer, or as a Casanova makes sense. So he'll be known as a Casanova. But like I said, for men and for women, our pasts will matter. They will always matter. But who you are right now is the thing that matters the most, and who you plan on being in the future is what truly matters the most. Not who you were, although it does, like or not, it is a part of your life. It is a part of your identity. But the thing that matters the most is who you are right now and who you plan on being in the future. We cannot change the past. I understand that some people did some things in the past that they regret, and no one's perfect, right? No one has a perfect past. No matter who you are, no one has a perfect past, right? But the only thing that truly matters, well, the thing that mostly matters is who you are right now and who you plan on being. So that's why, like, I'm like 50-50. Supports your child as their own. Now, I cannot really say my opinion on this because I don't have a child, so I don't know like what the love is like. I know people who have children, like my brother. He tells me that when you have kids, it's unconditional love. It's like a love he's never felt before. It's like a crazy love. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. I cannot really say that. But I can understand some people saying that they don't want to support someone else's child as much as if it was their own. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in like 10 years when I do have kids, or when maybe I'm going to be married to a woman who already has kids. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. Knock on wood. But maybe I'm going to change my opinion in 10 years from life experience. Hey, maybe that's going to happen. But right now, being who I am, I understand if a man wouldn't want to support someone else's child as their own. I mean, I would understand that, right? And then she ends with saying, never asks you for financial help. Me personally, I feel like if I had a wife or a girlfriend, I would never ask them for financial help. Maybe that's my ego. Maybe like that's the masculinity inside of me. I don't know. Probably it's my ego. But I personally would never ask my wife for financial help or my girlfriend for financial help. Now, of course, there's different degrees. If I'm sharing an apartment with my girlfriend and, we've been together for like 2-3 years and then, we're together. Yes, I love her, but I'm not sure if we're getting married. I don't know what the future looks like. Broski, believe me, we're splitting 50-50 that rent. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how beautiful you are. We're splitting 50-50 that rent. Now, if that was my wife and we had like 3 children and then she decides to take like 2-3 years off from work to stay at home with the children, then I wouldn't care about paying the bills fully around the house. I wouldn't give a fuck because that's my wife. I have children with her and she's not just doing nothing. She's fucking raising my children, which is like the most beautiful job a person can have, raising children. It's like one of the most important jobs on planet Earth, if not the most important job on planet Earth, being a mother. So then I wouldn't care about paying like the house completely or paying the apartment completely, paying all the bills and whatever. But if I'm just, like I said, it's just me and a girl. I've been in a relationship together for like 2-3 years and we're living in an apartment together. We're buying groceries together, whatever. Believe me, it's going to be 50-50. I don't care if that's Megan Fox. And what I'm saying Megan Fox is, she's like peak beauty for a woman, in my opinion. Megan Fox, Irina Shayk, Margot Robbie. I don't care if you're as good looking as them. We're splitting 50-50. Believe me. Those were my thoughts. Okay, so next topic. A woman wrote on Twitter and she said, Trump should identify as a female. Liberals would have to either accept him as the first female president or admit the absurdity of gender ideology. I mean, I understand. Even if Trump was to identify as a woman, they still would say that, oh no, it doesn't work like that. Of course, I mean, she's 100% right. What she just said is 100% right because it's absurd, right? I mean, because technically, right now, I could say I'm a woman. I feel like a woman, I'm a woman. That's fucking stupid. Like, bro, see, let's be honest. That's why with what she said, I agree 1000% with what she said, that if Trump was to identify as a woman, as a female, liberals would have to either accept him as the first female president, because if they don't, if Trump literally says from now on, I consider myself a woman, and if the liberals don't accept it, I mean, then they're in the wrong then. They have to admit that gender ideology, people having the right to identify as who they want and as what they want, because I see some people fucking identifying as a fucking sofa. I don't know. It became crazy. Then they'll have to admit, the liberals, that it's absurd and that gender ideology is fucking ludicrous and it's fucking stupid. But hey, we all know it's never going to happen. Even if Trump was to identify as a female, they would only say, oh, but Trump's not allowed to, but the ideology is still valid. Like, they would find an argument to debunk in a certain way what Trump is trying to do, if he was trying to do something like this. Next topic. Okay, so someone wrote on Twitter and she said, Black people have a unique culture. Puerto Rican people have various cultures. Mexicans have a vibrant culture. And then she went on to say, but where is the culture of white people? What culture do they identify with? I will wait. And then Joey Swole replied with, the idea of white culture as one singular culture oversimplifies a vast, diverse group of people and very ignorant and racist to say. Facts. White isn't a culture. It's a racial category of countless ethnic groups with distinct, rich histories, languages, traditions, and more. For example, Italian, Irish, French, Greek, German, Slavic, Serbian, Russian, and more, all rich in culture. 100% facts. Are you going to lump all of those together as one to erase their diversity? Culture isn't skin deep, it's rooted in history and place. Joey Swole, You said what I've been saying for years now. White culture, like what's white culture? Like he said, white is a skin color. Like I'm white. I'm white because I'm from European descendants. Just as much as Donald Trump is white. He's from Scottish descent, which is white European descent. But if I'm being honest, white cultures, just like Italian, French, Greek, Spanish, Serbian, Russian, whatever, Germany, they're the most rich cultures on planet Earth. All the white countries have the richest cultures on planet Earth. So like it or not, white culture is the richest culture on planet Earth. It's the most, I'll just say richest cultures. So I don't make too much backlash. White cultures are the richest cultures on planet Earth. White people actually have the most culture. If you look at France, Germany, Russia, England, Spain, Slavic countries, all white countries have the most culture. That's why if you look at all the most visited places on planet Earth with the most tourists, it's all white countries. Everyone wants to go to Italy. Everyone wants to go to France. Everyone wants to go to England. Everyone wants to go to Spain because of the culture, the food, the way of life, which has all to do with culture. Spanish culture is really, really rich, and it's white people. Portuguese culture is really, really rich, and it's white people. French culture is really, really, really fucking rich, and it's white people. English culture is really extremely rich, and it's white people. Italian culture is crazy rich, and it's white people. German culture is really fucking rich, and it's white people. Switzerland is really fucking rich, and it's white people. Belgium is really fucking rich, and is white people. Netherlands, Finland, Sweden, Holland, Denmark, and then if I go Poland, Czech, Slovakia, Austria, Italy, I said Slovenia, Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Greece is also really fucking rich, and it's white people. Russia is extremely rich in culture. Extremely rich in culture, as much as Italy, as much as France, as much as Germany, as much as England. And Russia is white people, as much as Ukraine, Poland, all these other countries. White cultures are the richest cultures on planet Earth. They have the biggest history, and they have the biggest cultures on planet Earth. That's a fact. So Joey Swole, everything you said, I agree 100%. And it's facts. I've been saying it since the beginning, because it's fucking facts. Okay, guys, so recently on October 7th, a school in Toronto played the national anthem of Canada, Oh Canada, in Arabic. Guys, what the actual fuck? Last time I checked, Toronto is in Canada. In Canada, we speak English or French. We don't speak Arabic. We don't speak Chinese. We don't speak Spanish. We don't speak Serbian. We don't speak German. We don't speak fucking Swahili. We don't speak Creole. We speak English or French. So the only languages that the O Canada song should be played in Canadian schools on Canadian soil is French or English. Not fucking Arabic, not fucking Spanish, not fucking Serbian, not Finnish, not German, not Chinese, not Japanese, not Indian, not whatever, only English or French. And if I'm being more precise, Canadian English or Quebecois, French Canadian, Quebecois. Those are the only two languages that the O Canada song should be played in on Canadian soil in Canadian schools. Only French and English. I don't give a fuck if you're an immigrant and you don't like what I just said. If you don't like French or English, go back to your country. Nothing's stopping you from going back to your country. And no one is stopping you. Like, just go back. We don't care. As long as we're in Canadian fucking soil, and I'm saying this as son of immigrants. My parents are immigrants from Serbia. I don't even want to see O Canada song being sang in Serbian. I'll be fucking pissed. Even though the Serbian language, Serbo-Croatian to be more precise, that's my mother tongue. That's my first language. Like at home, I always spoke Serbian and I still always speak Serbian. The first language I learned was Serbo-Croatian. That's the first language I know. That's my mother tongue. And still, even then, on Canadian fucking soil, it's either in English or in French. No other fucking language. I think even once during a Toronto Maple Leafs game, it was the whole Canada song was sang in Punjabi. What the actual fuck? What, Jesus fucking Christ. And I think once during a Toronto Raptors game, it was sang in Serbian. I'm not sure. Or maybe they sang a Serbian song. I don't know. But the old Canada song on Canadian soil in Canadian schools should only be sang in English or French. No other languages. Please, Mark Carney, if you're watching this, you're fucking gay because you're the one who allowed it to be. You're fucking gay, broski. Please make a change. Pierre Poilievre, if you're watching this, if you ever get elected, please make sure that's a law. That Canadian song, the old Canada song, should only be sang in French or English. And Maxime Bernier, I don't even have to tell you what to do. You already know what you have to do. Like what I just said, I know you agree 100%. So you just keep doing you, Maxime Bernier from PPC. You just keep doing you because you're doing one hell of a good job, man. Salute. Hey guys, one thing that's really, really important for your personal life and just for you in general is to stay away from people who drain your energy and who drain you mentally. Stay away from those type of people. Those people are envious, they're jealous, and they don't want to see you succeed in life. They wish you the worst. Maybe they'll never say it to your face, but they're deep down, their real intentions are nothing but the worst for you. Stay away from those people. Always trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Because your gut isn't influenced by your ego and isn't clouded by your ego. It's not clouded by your ego, your gut. Your gut is your intuition. So when your gut tells you that someone isn't good for you, that you should cut someone from your life, just do it. Do it. You don't have to rationalize in your mind. You don't have to spend days thinking about, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I cut him off? Should I let my boyfriend go? Should I let my girlfriend go? If your gut tells you to do it blindly because your gut is never wrong. That's your intuition. That's the best way that God communicates with us. The world and life communicates with us is through our intuition, which is with our gut. Always trust your gut feeling when it comes to cutting someone off. And like, let's be honest, if someone wishes you the worst, if someone is always envious of you, always jealous of you, cut them off immediately because they're like blood-sucking leeches. They want to drain you from your energy, and they don't want to see you flourish and accomplish everything that you're capable of accomplishing as a powerful human being, as a human being filled with potential, and as a human being with a great, great destiny. Cut off those people from your life because they're like little leeches. They will suck you dry as long as you let them. But the good news is no one has power over us. No one has power over our free will. No one. No dictator, no president, no one. Literally no human being has power over your own free will. So the good news is whenever you have those leeches in your life, you can cut them off immediately because you have the power to cut them off whenever you want. Use that power, use it wisely, and cut off those people who are envious of you, who are jealous of you, and who wish you nothing but the worst. Cut them off, and you shouldn't give a single fuck, man. And also, if I'm being honest, if you have haters, if you have people who are jealous of you, who are envious, and who are hating on you, that's good news. That means you're doing well in life. That means you're doing something that they wish they could do or that they wish they had that you have. So having haters is a good sign. It means you're doing well in life. It means you're on the right path. And it means that you're accomplishing something and that you're above the average and that you have something good going on in your life. Only people who are doing well in life have haters. So whenever you have haters, don't be sad that you have haters. Be fucking happy that you have haters because it means you're doing something well. If you don't have haters, then you should be sad because then it means that you're not doing something well in life because you don't have haters. People don't hate on people who they consider to be below them. People hate on people who they think that they are above them. So if you have haters, that's a good fucking sign. It means you're doing well in life. It means you're doing something that other people wish they could do, or you have something that other people wish they had. So like I said, having haters is a good sign. Don't be sad when you have haters. Of course, cut them off from your life. Don't keep them in your circle. Don't consider them your friend. Cut them off from your life. But at the same time, don't waste your energy thinking about, oh my God, why do I have haters? Complaining about having haters. You should be happy. So cut them off. Be happy, because when you have haters, it means you're doing fucking well in life, and just keep moving forward. Never give up. And the more you do well in life, the more you have, the more haters you'll have. It's literally how it works. The more money you have, the more success you have, the more fame you have, the more status you have, the more accomplishments you have, the more haters you have. That's a fact. So be happy that the more you get, the more haters you have. Be happy having. There should be like a competition between your friends. Oh, who has more haters? That means you're doing better in life. Someone who doesn't have haters, it doesn't mean that he's a good person or that he's a lovable person. It just means that he's not doing well in life. Because people can be really envious, and when someone hates on you, it's because you're doing well in life. That's what I had to say regarding that, regarding having haters. So when you have haters, be fucking happy, man. And also, if I'm being honest, regarding having friends, having a big circle, the older I get, I'm 25 right now, the older I get, the more I realize that I don't need, like, I don't have the necessity, I don't feel the necessity to have more than like 2 or 3 real friends. Like, I don't, like, when I was young, you know, when you're young, we're like, oh my God, I have 500 friends on Facebook. Like, I have more friends than you have. Blah. Like, when you're young, that's a flex, because you're young and you're dumb and you're stupid and you're naive out of life. You're naive and you're dumb. But the older you get, the more you realize that, first of all, you don't actually have a lot of real friends, like real friends. You don't. And that not only that you don't, that actually you don't feel that you don't have the need. You don't feel the need to have many friends. There's no necessity to have many friends. You just need like 2, 3 real friends, like, or even just one real friend, or like one real brother is what you actually need to have a successful life, to have a fulfilled life, and to have a really good life. You don't need more than that, if I'm being honest. And the older you grow, if someone's really young watching this, the older you grow, the more you'll realize that you don't need that many friends to have a very fulfilled life, a very purposeful life, a very beautiful life, and to have all your needs met. You don't need to have that many friends. You don't. You just need like 2 or 3 friends that you know deep down they're your real friends. They wish you the best. They want you to succeed. They want you to accomplish your dreams and your goals, and that you can go and have a beer with and just talk shit and have fun. The rest, I mean, you need a partner, guy or girl. You need a partner, of course, to meet other of your needs, of course. And I mean, when it comes to friends, the older you get, the more you realize that you don't need that many friends, and you don't really care about having friends or not having friends, if I'm being honest. Okay, so guys, this is a fact. White people need to protect their identity, their culture, and their way of life, and their countries. Already right now, whites make up like a big minority in the world. In the whole world. There's not a lot of white people in the whole world. There's not. We're a huge minority, white people. And white people don't immigrate to other countries. People from other countries who aren't white, they immigrate to white countries. And most of them, not all of them, maybe not most of them, I'm not sure like what's exactly the numbers, but a certain amount of them don't assimilate, meaning that they go against your way of life. Their culture goes against your culture on your soil, on your country, and their way of life is different from yours. If white countries bring in more and more mass immigration, they bring more and more immigrants through mass immigration. If they do it without any control, one day, white people, we're going to lose our culture, we're going to go extinct, and we're going to lose our way of life. It's a fact. Because, first of all, white people are the people who have the least babies, And we don't immigrate to other countries. We don't. We stay in our own countries because, I mean, let's be honest, they're the greatest countries on planet Earth. They're the richest countries. But the thing is, everyone wants to live in white countries. And even like what I find funny is everyone wants to live in white countries. And then when they get here, not all of them, but some of them bash white people and the white culture and the white way of life. I mean, that's another topic. But white people, this is nothing racist. It's just a fact. As much as any other group, any other racial group, any other ethnic group, as much as they want to protect their culture and their identity, as much as they have that primal instinct of protecting their group, their identity, their culture, their way of life, white people should have the same. Right now, white people don't have anymore that primal like instinct of protecting their culture, their way of life, and their tradition. Now I feel like slowly white people are waking up and they're trying to protect their culture and their way of life way more than before because of everything that happened recently with mass immigration, with immigration in general, and with foreign influence. So I feel like right now they're waking up as they should, because if they never wake up, if we never wake up and protect our culture, protect our identity, and protect our way of life and our country, one day our culture will be out the window, will go extinct, and our way of life, our culture, and our countries just won't exist anymore. So we have to defend and to preserve what we have. It's a fact. It's nothing racist. Every other group does it. Imagine if right now I was to take 5 million French people, white French people from Europe, and put them in Congo, and they start having a lot of babies, and they start speaking their language, trying to change laws and whatever, trying to turn Congo into France. You know what the Congolese people would do? They wouldn't let it happen. They wouldn't tolerate it. Only we white people tolerate the most because, of course, we're the most open-minded. In general, white people are the most open-minded. They're the kindest in general also. That's why they tolerate the most. But don't get it twisted. Some immigrants think that white people are dumb. They're not. They're some of the smartest people. Like, they're probably the smartest people on planet Earth. Like, fuck, I don't want to be racist, but that's a fact. They just don't know that that's what some groups are trying to do, is kill their identity, kill their culture, and convert their country into something else. But when they'll wake up, which one day they will, if the need comes, they will have to protect their culture, their way of life, and their country, which is nothing wrong there. Like I said, every other country does it. Every other racial group does it. Every other ethnic group does it. They all protect their way of life. They all protect their identity, and they're all primal when it comes to their group, meaning they only care about their group, and they want to protect their way of life, their culture, their language, their traditions, their customs, everything. But when white people want to do it, then all the world goes against them. Oh, they call them racist, they call them bigots, whatever. What the actual fuck? You shouldn't even give a fuck. What do you mean racist? When Poland wants to remain Poland and white, all the other people, they shit on them. Why? When China wants to remain China, everyone praises them. When Haiti wants to remain Haiti, everyone praises them. When Algeria wants to remain Algeria, everyone praises them. But when France wants to remain French, we hate on them. When Poland wants to remain Polish, we hate on them. When Germany wants to remain Germany, we hate on them. When Canada wants to remain Canada, we hate on them. Only when white Western Christian countries want to remain what they are and who they are, with their culture, their way of life, their customs, only those people get hated on. But when people from Africa want to keep their culture, that's okay. We praise them even. Not only is it okay, we praise them. When people from the Middle East want to protect their culture, their way of life, which, I mean, they have the right. That's their country, and they should have the right to want to protect their culture and their way of life. We praise them again. When people from Asia, from India, from China, from Japan, from Latin America, when they want to protect their way of life, their customs, their traditions, their languages, their culture, we praise them. But when white Christians in Western countries, when they want to protect their way of life, their culture, their customs, their traditions, we shit on them. What the actual fuck? That's not even, first of all, that's not even fair. And second of all my white people, you shouldn't give a fuck if someone calls you racist, because you just simply want to protect your culture, your country, and your way of life. There's nothing wrong there. Believe me, all other groups, like I said, all other racial groups or all other ethnic groups are way more primal than white people. They act way, way, way more primal than white people. And if white people never start acting primal as much as these other groups, one day we'll go extinct. We just will lose our culture and we won't have anything left. That's a fact, man. Like I said, if I'm being honest, like, let me continue now. Diversity is not a strength. Unity is a strength. Diversity isn't, because if we have many groups, many ethnic groups or racial groups who disassociate themselves from one main goal, which should be make Canada the greatest country and make Canada the best country that it can be. But when these groups start acting primal, if Lebanese people only care for their group and for Lebanese Canadians, and then we have Italian Canadians only caring about their group, and then we have Chinese Canadians only caring about their group and only caring about China, whatever. That's diversity, yes, but it's not unity. Diversity is a weakness. Unity is a strength. If we all come together and say, let's make Canada the greatest country possible because we all feel Canadian, and yes, we all have different backgrounds. Someone's background is from Africa, someone's background is from Europe, someone's background is from Latin America. We all have different backgrounds. But what unites all of us is that we're all Canadian first. Like me. Yes, my last name, Delic. That's Serbian origins. But I'm Canadian first. If you live in Canada and you're a citizen right here, you should consider yourself Canadian first, and then, of course, with different origins. Well, there's nothing wrong there. But without unity, diversity is a weakness. There's nothing wrong with having diverse backgrounds, whatever. But at the end of the day, we all have to be Canadian first so that we have unity. And with unity, we can have prosperity and we can have innovation and become a better and more accomplished country than we are right now. That's the goal of life, right? Going forward, individually, your country, or just the planet Earth in general. The planet in general, the world in general is going forward, right? We don't want to go backwards, even though some countries are going backwards. That's another topic. But in general, the main idea is to go forward, right? That's the main goal. But with diversity without unity is a weakness. Diversity with unity is a strength. That's a strength. And the key word for the strength is unity. We need to have unity. If we have immigrants coming here who don't consider themselves Canadians, who don't give a fuck about Canada, we don't have unity. We have different subcultures living on the same territory, and then we don't have unity. We don't have unity. Strength is in unity, not in diversity. It's in unity. Now, even if unity, there's no diversity, as long as everyone is united, that's when we have strength, not in diversity. Next topic. The more you are favored by God, the more you will also be favored by the devil. That's a fact. I heard many, many wise people say this for countless years, for decades, for centuries, say that the more you are favored by God, the more you are also favored by the devil. I heard Mike Tyson say the same thing. Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers of all time, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, one of the most accomplished athletes of all time. He was highly, highly favored by God, but he was also highly, highly favored by the devil. The more God gives you, the more you have to be mentally strong, the more challenges you're going to face. People get this twisted. The more God gives you, the more he's going to challenge you because he knows that you can take on more challenges. So if God, it's not like, oh, I'm better than him, I have more talents than him, life is going to be easier for me. It's actually the opposite. Life is going to be harder because life is going to challenge you more, because God is going to put you through more challenges because he gave you more strength and more power than someone else. So he's going to test you more and he's going to challenge you more so that you accomplish more and that you reach your full potential because you have different potential levels than someone else. So the more you are favored by God, the more you are also favored by the devil. That's a fact, man. So the more you are favored, the more talents you have, the more competence you have. Life won't get easier. You'll actually have bigger problems and more problems. And why? It's because God, you're favored by the God, meaning you're also favored by the devil. God will challenge you more so that he makes you stronger, so that when the devil challenges you with big, big challenges, that he won't challenge someone else who doesn't have as many gifts as you do. You'll be ready to face those challenges brought on by the devil. That's why the more God gives to you, the more he'll challenge you, the more he'll test you, so that you become even more accomplished, more competent, smarter, stronger, whatever, so that you can then fully and successfully go against the devil's challenges and face those challenges and triumph over his challenges. So the more you're favored by God, the more you'll be favored by the devil. Oh, and recently I saw someone say that wealthy white people ignore racism more than middle class white people, which is true. I mean, if I was rich, if I had and I was only thinking about making my company richer, only caring about having more money, I wouldn't. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all individualistic. At the end of the day, yes, we can talk about group this, group that, which one group does more. But then at the end of the day, it's all about who you are as an individual. And I mostly care about only what I do. I want to be accomplished. I don't care if my group isn't accomplished. I want to be successful and I want to accomplish my dreams and my goals. I wish everyone all the best. I don't hate anyone. I wish everyone the best. But at the end of the day, I only care about my goals, my dreams, and my aspirations. And I only care about me reaching my goals and my dreams. So of course, if I'm not a politician, if I'm not a fucking activist or whatever, and I'm simply a businessman who only cares about money and making more money, more revenue out of my business, of course I'm not going to care about societal problems or what's happening in the world, because I'm just a businessman. I just care about money. I just want to sell as much coffee as possible because I just want to make as much money as possible. I don't give a fuck. That's different. Then of course we also have famous, accomplished activists, which they care more about societal problems, or politicians in general, right? Now, of course, some people can say that politicians only care about getting in power so that they have status and fame and money. Of course, but some politicians actually do care about societal problems. And I feel like, if I'm being honest, 99% of politicians in the beginning, when they got into politics, is because they cared about certain societal problems regarding maybe economy, regarding maybe sociology, philosophy, psychology, regarding society in general. That's why they get into politics in the first place, because they want to change society in general. And then maybe during their trajectory, when they get older, then maybe they get more corrupt, and then maybe they only care about power and money. Maybe they change. But in the beginning, everyone who goes into politics as a young guy, as a young woman, they care about a certain societal problem, which can have to do with economy, with the society, maybe with a certain movement. But the main reason that they get into politics in the beginning is because they care about societal problems. And then, like I said, maybe later on, they get corrupted with money, power. They get drunk with power. I don't know. They can change, of course. But in the beginning, it's because they care about certain societal problems. And same thing goes for businessmen. Some people don't care about societal problems. They just don't give a fuck. And I don't blame them. I mean, we live in a free country. You have the right to do whatever you want as long as you don't break laws. You have the right to do whatever you want. And if you just want to be a businessman and just make a lot of money and just care about revenue and just care about making the most money you can, then I don't blame you not caring about societal problems. I understand, you do you. You don't have to care about societal problems. No one forces you to care about societal problems. Some people, it just comes naturally to them. They just naturally care about societal problems. Other people only care about making money. They literally don't give a fuck what's happening in society, who's facing injustices, who's facing this, who's facing that. He doesn't give a fuck. He only cares about making money and revenue. So of course, those people, and you can't blame them. You cannot force someone to care about a societal problem if they don't want to. It's their life. They can do whatever they want as long as they don't do anything illegal. As long as they don't do anything illegal, they have the right to do whatever they want. They have the right to pursue whatever they want to pursue. Let them be. We all have the right. We all have the right to pursue happiness in our own ways. For him, it's chasing money. It's chasing that bag. Good for you. For some people, it is being activists, going to politics, changing their country, changing the world. Good for them. Some people just want to write songs. Some people just want to paint paintings. Some people just want to direct movies. Some people just want to build homes, own real estate. Some people just want to do what they want to do, which is fine as long as it's not illegal. Do whatever you want to do, broski. Next topic. Okay, so like I said, communism in theory, on paper, is really beautiful and it works. In theory, on paper. In the reality of things, it doesn't work. Why? Because communism forgets that the human ego exists and the human ambition exists. It forgets that human ego is really, really big and is really, really strong in all of us. And some people it's stronger than in others, but the human ego exists. Of course, like I said, I only care about me accomplishing my dreams. So of course, I'm going to prefer the capitalism way of life. But that's like 99% of human beings. They only care about themselves. They only care about them accomplishing their dreams, which I mean, there's nothing wrong there. That's why communism in practice doesn't work. On paper, in theory, it makes a lot of sense and it does actually work. But right now, where we human beings are right now, which we all have egos, right? Like technically a billionaire doesn't need to have 12 Lamborghinis. He doesn't, right? Why do you need 12 Lamborghinis? It's the ego, right? He feels good like, oh, look at me. I have 12 Lamborghinis. I can flex 12 Lamborghinis. It's the ego side of the human being. I understand that, but it exists in mostly all of us. And like, yes, if you look in practice on paper, he doesn't need to have 12 Lamborghinis. Why? He can only have one. It gets you from point A to point B, right? Like you only need one. You're only one human being. You cannot fit in 12. You cannot drive 12 Lamborghinis at the same time, right? You can't. So what's the point of having 12? It's the human ego. The human ego always existed. It started off more when we became sedentary, when we were nomad, and when we couldn't accumulate wealth. We didn't have that much ego because we couldn't accumulate wealth. But once human beings became sedentary, which we are right now, we're all sedentary. I mean, there are some groups in certain places of the world, like the Amazon rainforest, who are still nomad. They have no egos. Why? Because the concept of owning something, the concept of money, the concept of having more resources than someone else doesn't exist in their society. If it existed, then they would have ego battles between people, just as much as we have in North America or just in the world in general, because we are all sedentary, which means we can accumulate wealth. Once we can accumulate wealth, we start wanting to have more than others because we want to have more status than others, which means having more women, which in general means having more money, having more respect, people following you more, having more power. We all crave that. All human beings, to a certain degree, crave that attention, that power, that money, that wealth. So that's where it comes from. Having a sedentary lifestyle, which means we can accumulate wealth. That's why communism, maybe in 3,000 years, maybe like in 10,000 years from now, when maybe we human beings will have less egos than we have right now than when we had before, maybe then communism could work. But right now, with our egos, it will not work, man, because we all want to accumulate wealth, have more than someone else. It's who we are, man. Where was I? Yeah, okay, so guys, for people who don't know, the slogan "Just Do It" came from Nike, who they saw someone who was on death row. And just before they killed him, they asked him, do you have any final words? And he said, just do it. That's where it comes from. But like, if we're being honest, the phrase "just do it" applies to everything and to everyone. Whenever you're planning on doing something, then you start thinking, right? Your brain starts working. Some people start overthinking, but we all start thinking to a certain degree. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. You're not good enough. You shouldn't do it. Don't even try it. You're going to lose money. It's not going to work out at the end. It's not going to work. At the end of the day, no matter what your brain tells you, no matter what anyone tells you, just fucking do it. I know it's corny to say, it's like overused, but the reason that it's overused is because it's true. Everyone says it. Just do it. You want to start a podcast? Just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment will never happen. As long as you're alive, the perfect moment will never exist, and it will never arrive on its own. We create the perfect moment. So just do it. Whatever you want to do. You want to start writing books? Just do it. You want to start a business? Just do it. You want to start a podcast? Just do it. You want to start Going to the gym, just do it. Whatever you want to do, just do it. It's as simple as that. Of course, maybe in the beginning you're gonna be shit, which is normal. But if you keep doing it and you keep moving forward and you never give up, you're gonna become way, way better than what you were in the beginning, which is normal. So at the end of the day, no matter what your brain tells you, no matter what your friends tell you, your family members, your brothers, your sisters, your dad, your mother, your grandparents, just do it. It's as simple as that. Because if you don't do it, either way, time will pass. If you do it or if you don't do it, either way, time will pass. Time will pass. Time doesn't stop for anyone. It doesn't stop for anyone. So if you do it or if you don't do it, time will either way pass. So you might as well do it because time will pass either way, right? So if, let's say, I did 100 episodes and someone never did one episode and he planned on starting a podcast the same time that I planned on doing it, well, I'm way more advanced than he is. Why? Because it's going to be 3 years soon that I started the podcast. In 3 years, I did way more than someone else who just had the idea but never did it, never acted upon the idea. Now, I'm not saying I'm accomplished. I'm not. But I'm more advanced than he is. Why? Not because I'm smarter, not because I'm better, not because I'm more talented, simply because I just did it. I just started it. I just did it. Same as going to the gym. When I started going to the gym, when I had the idea, when I was like 17, 18, many other of my friends had the same idea, but they never did it. I simply did it. I just went to the gym for like 7 years. I've been going to the gym 6, 7 years. I just did it. And either way, when I decided to go and when he decided to not go, but he had the same idea at the same time as I did, the only difference between me and him, and the only reason I'm more advanced and I have more muscles than him, is because I simply did it. In either way, time passed. You cannot stop time and say, you know what, let me stop time. And then when I feel like doing it and when I feel like starting it, then I'll start time again. Time just goes by. If you do it or if you don't do it, time goes by. Life doesn't wait for anybody. It doesn't wait. It just keeps going. Time doesn't wait for anybody. It just keeps going. It doesn't give a fuck. It just keeps going. It never stops. So guys, just do it. Whatever your dream is, just do it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the 7 deadly sins. So first one is pride. Having too much pride is a deadly sin. I'm not saying that having pride isn't good. Having pride is good. Being confident who you are, being proud of who you are is always good. And you should always be grateful for what you have and for who you are. Always. But having too much pride, thinking you're above other people just because you did something or just because you have more money than someone else, that's when it becomes a deadly sin. Is when you believe that you are above other people, that you are like a demigod. That's when it becomes a deadly sin. The other one is greed. When you have too much greed for whatever, for money, for success, for fame, it becomes a deadly sin. Now, having greed for money is good. It's only a question of levels. There's a certain level which is really, really healthy and really, really good for all human beings. But there's also a level which is really, really bad for human beings, and it becomes really, really negative for human beings, and it fucks you up more than it helps you. Sometimes having too much greed has more cons than pros. In general, greed, I think the word greed in general is just more cons than pros, but being ambitious is the right word. You should all be ambitious and be driven and be hungry for accomplishments and for accomplishing your goals. We should all be hungry, ambitious, and driven. But we should not be greedy, because greedy comes from your ego, makes you do stupid things, and is just a deadly sin, if I'm being honest. Next deadly sin is lust. If I'm being honest, I think I have a lot of this one. I mean, lust is having too much of sexual desires. Now, I feel like all men have lust as sin from what I saw. Some have less, if I'm being honest. Like, I saw some men told me, like I had someone tell me that he can go months without sex. I'm like, holy fucking shit, broski. I don't know how you do it. I can't, bro. I can't go months without sex, bro. I'll fucking go crazy in my head, man. I can't do it. Some people can do it. I mean, I guess we all have different levels of sex drive. I guess it's just who we are. But I feel like maybe this, like, out of all the 7 deadly sins, I feel like this is the one I have the most. Lust, man. And if you can't control your sins, your sexual desires, just like Charlie Sheen, it can be really, really bad for you. He ruined a lot of relationships. He had a lot of problems in his lives because of his addiction to sex, because of his lust. He even caught HIV because of his sexual desires, because of his lust. He caught HIV, which is a really, really like big health issue. You can, like a really big infection, virus you can catch. It's a virus. So lust is a really, really big sin to have. Like, it's a sin. Now, of course, having sexual drive isn't bad, but it's when you have too much lust, when you cannot control your sexual drive, when you're ready to fuck up a lot of relationships, fuck up your life, lose a lot of money, whatever. That's when it becomes a problem. That's when lust and when having sexual desires becomes a problem. When you cannot control yourself, when it's ruining your life, when it's ruining your relationships, when you're getting shit out of your life, that's when lust and when sexual desires can be a real problem. The next one is envy. This one is really, really bad. When you envy others, you just move backwards in your own life and in your own process. Never compare yourself with others. First of all, you don't know what someone else's life actually looks like. You can only see it from the outside picture. You can never see it from the inside picture. Elvis Presley, I always bring him up because in my opinion, Elvis Presley is a guy who literally had everything a guy could want. He had money, fame, status, looks, one of the greatest singers, one of the greatest artists of all time. All the women were screaming his name. Wherever he would go, he would be treated like a king. And deep inside, he was depressive. I mean, when you look at it from face value and when you look at him from the outside, he's like the perfect human being. He has everything a man would want. And he was really, really depressive. So that's why never compare yourself with others. Always compare yourself with who you were yesterday. Compare yourself with yourself. Try to be better than who you were yesterday. And just try to be better step by step, day by day. The next one is gluttony. This is eating or drinking too much. This is a big sin we have in the Western world right now. Like a big percentage of the population in America is obese. We have real weight problems in the Western world. Not all individuals, but many individuals are over consummating alcohol or food in general. It's a really big sin we have currently in the Western world. Eating too much, over consuming calories from drinks, from food, from whatever. It's a really big sin we have right now in the Western world. Wrath or anger. That's another sin that many people have, is not being able to control your anger. Sometimes living through life, being a human being, anger is needed. But when you cannot control your anger, anger can sometimes be a power. It can help you in many situations, and it can actually be a superpower. When you can control your anger. When you cannot control your anger, that's not a power, that's a weakness. When you cannot control your anger, that's a weakness. That's why it's a deadly sin when you cannot control your anger. And the last one is sloth, being lazy. Being lazy is a deadly sin. Why? Human beings were made to constantly go and do something. It's ingrained inside of us to constantly be doing something and constantly be out there trying to improve our lives. That's who we are as human beings. Being lazy is a big sin that many people have. Human nature will never change. I understand that. All human beings, we all commit sins. Like the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and Kevin Spacey. And he said, all human beings, when we go through our normal lives, we see constantly all these 7 deadly sins being consummated on the streets by many different people. And we don't do nothing, which is normal. No human being is perfect. We all do deadly sins from time to time, which is normal. But even though that's human nature, and I understand that human nature will never change, we have to fight against our instincts, our human basic instincts to commit these 7 deadly sins. Being lazy is way, way easier than being hard worker. It's way, way easier. Not being able to control your anger is way, way easier than controlling your emotions and your anger. Eating everything you want and all you want and eating as much as you want to is way, way easier than following a diet. It's way, way easier. Being envious towards others is way, way of an easier mindset to adopt than being grateful, and then by not comparing yourself with others and only comparing yourself with yourself. Being envious is a way, way easier mentality to adopt than having a mentality of only comparing yourself with yourself and trying to become the best version of yourself. Having lust, having uncontrollable sexual desires, it's way, way easier to not control your sexual desires than to control your sexual desires. It's way, way easier. It's way, way easier to be greedy, right? If someone to be greedy, if you can take $10 million to steal $10 million without getting caught, we would all do it, right? Because it's way, way easier to be greedy than to not be greedy. Accomplishing a lot and then being prideful, having pride, thinking you're greater, better than others, is a way, way easier mentality to adopt than a mentality of being humble, no matter who you are, no matter how much you accomplished, no matter how much the shit you are. It's way, way easier to adopt a mentality of I'm better than others than a mentality of humbleness and I'm equal to others. I'm the same as others. Okay, so my next topic is for people who didn't watch Inglourious Basterds. In the beginning, the first scene is Hans Lana, who comes to this house, this French house, who that person at that French house is harboring Jewish people in the basement. And then Hans Lana, who is the character played by Christoph Waltz, he explains an analogy to the French owner of the house on why he hates Jewish people. He says that, and then he brings on the analogy of if right now there was a rat if a rat was to enter your house right now, would you greet the rat with hostility or with hospitality? Of course, with hostility. Why? Because a rat visually is ugly, right? A rat is visually ugly. And then he went on to say, but if a squirrel was to enter your house, would you treat it with the same hostility you would with the rat, or would you treat him with more hospitality? Of course, all human beings, we would way more like way more to see a squirrel enter our house than a rat. We would treat the squirrel with way more hospitality than the rat, right? We would all treat the rat with hostility. And the only reason why is because the squirrel is better looking, is more beautiful to look at, is more pleasing to the eye than the rat. Because every sickness, every disease that a rat can hold inside of him, so can the squirrel. They share the same diseases. They can have the same diseases that a rat can bring into a home, is that a squirrel can bring in the same diseases as that rat. But simply because the squirrel looks better, is more pleasing to the eye than the rat, we will treat the squirrel with more hospitality than the rat. That's a fact. Now, talking about what we said in the beginning, explaining the Jews, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now. It's just, I'm talking about aesthetics. When it comes to having compassion, we have more compassion towards things that are aesthetically more pleasing. When I see a dog, a very cute dog, I'm more kind to the dog and I'm more willing to do nice things to the dog. If I was to see a fucking, let's say a spider, an ugly ass spider, I wouldn't treat it with the same hospitality I would treat a cute dog. I would kill that rat, right? We don't treat hyenas with the same hospitality as we do gazelles, right? Why? Simply because gazelles are better looking, are more pleasing to the eye than hyenas. So I think Sigmund Freud once said that compassion, aesthetics plays a big part in who we have compassion towards. And I agree, man. Next topic. Always speak your mind and never be afraid to express what you truly think or feel. Never be afraid to speak your mind. Even if you feel like people won't agree with you, even if you feel like people will think you're weird or whatever, if that's how you feel, if that's what your thoughts are, don't be afraid to express them. Don't be afraid to be who you are. God created you like that for a reason, for a purpose. We're not all the same. We're all different. All human beings are different. That's good. If we were all the same, society wouldn't function. If we all had the same temperament, if we all had the same ideas, if we all thought the same, we would all live in one country. We would all be, only one job would exist because we would all want that one job. And we would all marry the same people. We would all wear the same clothes. We would all drive the same car. We would all do everything the same because we would all be the same. But we're all different. All human beings are different. And it's normal that we all have different ideas. We all have different thoughts regarding certain topics. We all think differently, which is normal and which is actually beautiful. That's what makes our society so beautiful and so prosperous, is that we have so many people with different opinions. That's what makes society so good. That's what makes humanity. That's what makes humans. That's the same. But my main point is, don't be afraid to express what you truly think and to say what you truly feel. Like this quote from Sigmund Freud, he said, "Unexpressed emotions will never die." If you don't express yourself, if you don't say how you actually feel, those feelings won't die out. They will always stay inside of you. And then he went on to say, they are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. If you put all of your emotions deep inside, you crush them inside of you. You never express your emotions. You never speak your mind. It won't die out. It will come on later. It will come out in uglier ways. It will maybe come out through violence or through other ways. Just like school shootings. A school shooter is a guy who had mental problems, who never expressed himself, who never sought mental help, and then one day he just explodes. He explodes and he fucking goes and does a mass shooting in a school. That's fucking bad. We don't want that. Don't be afraid to express yourself, to seek mental help if you need, and don't be afraid to say how you feel and to express your thoughts and your emotions. That's normal. All human beings, we're all social creatures. We want to be understood, we want to be heard, and we want to be listened to. That's normal for all human beings. But if you're afraid to express your emotions, if you're afraid to express how you feel, one day, they're not going to die out. You're just going to explode one day in uglier ways. It's just a question. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. One day you're going to explode and it's going to come out in really, really, really ugly ways. The only way to prevent that is to express your emotions, express your feelings, express your thoughts. As soon as they come into you, as soon as you feel them, express them. Don't wait for anything. The more you wait, the uglier it will come out. You know, when sometimes you want to say something to someone and you keep suppressing that emotion, then one day you just snap and you say it in the worst way possible. But if you just would have told that person, "Yo, stop doing that. I don't like when you tell that to me, or when you do that to me. I hate it. Can you please stop?" If you say it the first time that arrives, and the first time you have the feeling to say it, you feel the feeling to say it, you feel the need to say it, then it won't come out in ugly ways. It will come out in a really respectful way and in a really nice way. But if you keep holding that inside of you, one day you'll just snap. Maybe you'll say it in a way that isn't respectful, and maybe you'll say it in a really, really mean way, and maybe you'll do something you would have never done if you wouldn't have just fucking exploded because you kept all those emotions bottled up inside of you. Okay, guys, let's end this episode with Bible verses. So first Bible verse, Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Next quote, Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added to you. James 1:2-4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that a testing of your faith produces perseverance. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. The last one, Matthew 5:14-16. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. That was it, guys, for this episode. See you next episode. Peace out.